Hey, what's going on, everybody? What's going on? Welcome back to the channel, Pigskin Addicts. Back again with another live stream here. You guys see the title of this thumbnail. You guys see the picture, right? We think Mike Williams is going to be back. Well, at least I think Mike Williams is going to be back. I've heard some stuff that he is going to play this weekend, barring any setbacks today, which I don't believe is going to happen. The Chargers are pretty much going through a walkthrough at this point right now on Friday. They'll probably do another walkthrough tomorrow, and it's game time on Sunday. So they're not doing anything that's going to um, re-aggravate his ankle injury. He's looks like he's going to play now. The Chargers are going to have to lean on him for this game, and I don't think Mike Williams is a big. I don't think he's a big guy that you game plan around every week. He can be, but in this Charger offense, he's just not. I don't think Joe Lombardi is the type of offensive coordinator that does that type of stuff. But Mike Williams, if he is going to play this week, if he is going to be ready to go, the Chargers have to use him. They have to use him, and they have to go to him early, and they have to go to him often, and they have to make the Chiefs adjust to what is going on there. Now, week 2, Mike Williams went off. He went off for 8 catches, 113 yards, and a touchdown. And the Chiefs, they had to go into a double team on it. They had to. There was no choice. They had no options. They were dealing with some injuries at the time in their defensive backfield, but Mike Williams just still has the advantage. Mike Williams has the advantage over the Chiefs defenders. He has the advantage over a lot of teams' defenders, especially the DBs. These guys are small. The Chiefs have a one of the smaller defensive back lineup, safeties included. These guys they're not very big. They're kind of rangy and they can make plays, but they're very, very small. Mike Williams has the advantage. Mike Williams is listed at 6'4", 218, I think, or something like that. That's what the Chargers have him listed at on their website. I personally don't think that's accurate. He looks every bit 6'4", but I don't think he's 218. He looks like he's closer to 230. I am 6'1", 6'1", almost 6'2", 215, and that dude is a lot bigger than me. So there's no way that he is 2-3 inches taller than me, but only weighs a couple pounds more than me. There's no way. He's closer to 230, so he's gonna have the advantage. And when you go back and you look at the tape of the second game against Kansas City, he was using his physical prowess to get open. They were trying to press him on the line. They're trying to do everything, and they couldn't do it. He was just running past it. So that's going to be there again. If Mike is ready to go, that's going to be there. That's going to be there. And the Chargers need to look for that, because that is something that can kind of break the game open for the Chargers, especially if they play a clean game, don't turn the ball over. Having Mike Williams, run the deeper routes, right? The digs, the deep outs, the posts, having to make those really physical contested catches. That's going to be there. That works. That works every week, pretty much against every opponent. You have the physical advantage. So you gotta use that. If Mike is going to play, you gotta use it. Apex Prowler, thank you for the super chat. Here, Big Mike is back. Yeah, Mike. I think Mike for sure. But I think Keenan Allen is going to be a game time decision. He hasn't had any setbacks either, but he is not. His hamstring is not responding the way that everybody thought that it would. Now, I don't know. I don't know if the Chargers are disclosing what really happened, because for it to be just a tweak of the hamstring, that is normal at best. At best, that's normally 4 to 6 weeks. This happened in week 1, and we're in week 10 now. So to me, I think the Chargers haven't been disclosing it. I think there's been a slight tear. There has to be a slight tear for him to be out this much, for him to not be able to run routes after this long. And he hasn't practiced or anything. I know he tried to practice a couple weeks ago. I guess he re-aggravated it a little bit. But for there to just be a pull for this long, I don't know, man. Especially with all of the medical advancements that the NFL teams have, and all of the rehab and all the stuff that they're able to go through, I think that it has to be a tear. It has, at this point right now, it has to be a tear. I I don't think you can say that he is healthy and it's just a pull. There has to be a tear, and it has to be taking its time to heal. That's very, very, because even if let's say that they disclose that he did slightly tear it, right, and they wanted to, do a quick operation to repair it, right, just to make sure that it's going good. I think even by now he probably would have been practicing, because that surgery is like 6 to 8 weeks. So he didn't have surgery. He pulled it the first game of the season, all the way back in week 1. We're now in week 10. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't think the Chargers are disclosing everything. I think they're pulling some Bill Belichick type stuff, because the hamstrings don't normally take this long. Even for football players, it just doesn't take that long. Keenan, he's not a small guy, but he's also not a big guy either. He's not a big muscle guy. So um, it's not like he doesn't have flexibility or anything like that. It's very odd. This injury is odd. I don't think I've ever seen a hamstring just get worse as the season progresses, especially when the guy's not playing and not practicing. Very interesting. Something that should be questioned. People should ask questions about this. So I think Keenan on the downhill, he's been injured too much. Hate to say, I hope I'm wrong. This is his first significant injury I remember. So I don't know. I understand what you're saying, but I don't know if we can. I don't know if we can put him there yet. I think we have to see him play first. I heard, the conversation is going around about him, this possibly being his last year, and I even did a video on it and stuff too. And I wouldn't be surprised if it was his last year, but I don't know. I think we got to see him play first, because we have to remember that Keenan Allen is a guy that he's not a speed guy. He's not a, Calvin Johnson. He's not one of those type of receivers. He is a route running maven. So he is a guy, he's made his money, he's made his name off of running good routes and off of reading coverage, being, a little, loose and being able to get open, right? That's what he's made his name off of. Guys like that normally age very well. So I don't know if he's on the back heel yet. I don't know that. We have to see him play. I want him to come back. I want to see what he does. Hopefully he is able to play on Sunday, and there's no more setbacks, so he can, come back for these last 7 games, and then we can evaluate him and see how well, he can still play, because he looked good week 1. Week 1 against the Raiders, he looked good until that hamstring injury happened. He looked like the same old Keenan Allen. So if he comes back and he's able to do the same exact things, I don't think you can say he's on the back end. Now, this injury does make a difference, and when it comes to cutting players and asking players to take pay cuts and all of that stuff, injuries do make a difference. And it's not fair, but injuries do make a big, big difference. There's a lot of guys, a lot of star players in the league who have, been injured for, full season, part of the season before franchise has asked them to take a pay cut. And, this is, we're kind of in that same territory with Keenan Allen. But I want to see what he does. I think all of it really depends on whether he's able to come back. And if he does come back, is he able to produce at the level that he was producing, get open the same way that he was getting open? Because his value right here, his value now is never been higher. We see what the Chargers are without him, without Mike Williams, right? We see what they are. These guys are going to be as valuable as can be. If they come back and Herbert has a good game and it's 400 yards and 3 touchdowns, we're going to know, okay, Herbert needs his guys, right? You can't just throw the practice squad guys out there with him, throw Josh Palmer at the number 1 receiver and say, go out there and win games, right? Obviously, you can't do that. So these guys, their value has never been higher. So if Keenan comes out and he balls, I think he stays on the team, because we see what this team is without him. And, his value really is tied up into what he does in the next 7 games. So I'm looking forward to him coming back. I think he can still do everything that he has been doing, barring, any injury setbacks, but we'll see. I think it's a conversation that should be had at this point. I see he's practicing. He hasn't for 3 weeks. Yeah. Keenan Allen. Yeah. Both, Slayer Mike can go. I think Palmer could have a big day after one against number 1 for the better part of the month. He should feel superhuman against threes and safeties. Yeah, he should. But there is something that could be said about him and Herbert. when you watch the film, they're not really on the same page. I don't know what it is. They're just not on the same page this year. They were on the same page last year, and it was, it was crazy because he was a rookie. Josh Palmer was a rookie, but they were on the same page last year. Palmer, he stepped up and he made plays at several points during the season last year. He made very tough contested catches. He ran really good routes. I don't know what it is. I think some of it has to do with injury. Him and Herbert have both been injured, so maybe the practice time just isn't there. But when you watch tape, they're not on the same page. Routes are being like ran, maybe a little shorter distances than what Herbert wants, and then the throws are just not there. Like there's something with those two; they're not on the same page. I think that they should probably work out together this offseason so that they can get on the same page. They need to get on that same wavelength because Palmer is the receiver of the future, right? Whether or not Keenan Allen is back next year, Palmer is the guy. He's the receiver of the future. So they have to get on the same page. Him and Herbert need to get on the same page. The Chargers, the success really depends on them being on the same page. So let's see, how is he on the downhill? Oh, you're talking about Keenan Allen? Yeah. No, Keenan Allen. No, he's still one of the best. See a decline coming due to injuries. He's one of the best, but I think they have to. Again, these 7 games are going to determine what Keenan Allen's value is, because when you do look at the other veterans who have been asked to take pay cuts and stuff like that, they haven't really been in the situation that Keenan Allen is in right now. The Chargers their offense can't function without him. They can't function without him. They can't function without Mike Williams. They can't move the ball. They can't do anything without these guys. So their value is high. Keenan Allen's value within the organization is high right now. If he's able to come back and if he's able to ball, and again, if Herbert gets on a hot streak, you're going to know, okay, this is the reason why Herbert was struggling. This is the reason why the Charger offense, he's missing big guys. So his value has never been higher. But, he's got to come out and be able to do the same things. And I think he will. He guys like this don't age badly. Like the speed guys are the ones that come out and they age very badly, right? Being able to run, like Tyreek Hill. When Tyreek Hill starts aging, you're going to be able to tell. There's a difference in running a 4.2 and running a 4.4. Like football speed, there's a big, huge difference. And you're going to be able to see it. When Tyreek Hill starts aging, he's going to, like those breakaway runs for 70 yards, whatever, he's going to be getting caught. There's not going to be touchdowns. He's going to be getting caught. That's when you're going to know he's aging. Keenan Allen doesn't really do that. He can get open. And I think he'll be able to play as long as he wants to. He'll be able to play into his late 30s because getting open is just getting open, right? It doesn't really, you don't have to be the fastest guy, but getting open, being able to read defenses, knowing how to run routes, knowing how to, be able to play with defenders all on you, getting off the line of scrimmage, all that stuff. You don't need to be fast for that. And you don't need to be young either. So I think Keenan Allen, he's going to be able to play as long as he wants. As long as he's healthy, he'll be good. He'll be good to go. And I think he'll be good for us these next 6-7 games, whenever he comes back. Hopefully he comes back on Sunday. I hope he is ready to give it a shot. At least give it a shot. If it's not feeling well, then go back on the bench until you're ready. But at least give it a shot because the Chargers need him badly right now. Let's see. Hey, I'm late, but reminded back to the beginning. Hope all is going well. Yes, it is. Thank you, Matt. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Let's see. He had 100 yards in the first quarter. Haven't seen him since. Never been a physical freak with speed or anything. Yeah, with Keenan Allen. Yeah, he's not a speed guy, but he gets open now. He gets open. He gets open. Yeah, Ndamukong Suh went to the Eagles. Him and Linval Joseph both went to the Eagles. That's a franchise that's all in. The Chargers are not all in. They are all in. That's what they're called on YouTube, but they're not all in. Ndamukong Suh, Linval Joseph. The Eagles had one bad game on Monday night where they got ran on. The Washington Commanders, they ran on them pretty well, and not even to the tune of a lot of yards. They just ran on them to the point where they just couldn't get off the field a few times, and they went and they addressed that right away, bringing in two defensive tackles who have names in this league. Like, they really are not messing around. They're not messing around. That was their first loss of the season. Like, they're in no danger of missing the playoffs or anything like that. They just don't want to get to a point where they can't stop anybody, and they addressed it right away. So they're a franchise that is serious. The Chargers should have been doing this like months, years ago, but they don't. They don't. They just, hope, and have wishes that things will get better. They do nothing to proactively help the team get better. It's just hope and wishes and that type of stuff. So, let's see. Keenan has a skill set to play another solid 3 or 4 years. His game is predicted on pace, footwork, and precision, not superior athleticism. 100%, 100%. And he's big enough too that you can't. He's not a Michael Bandy. Keenan Allen he's a bigger guy. He's 6'2". He's probably maybe 215-ish or something like that. But he's a bigger dude. I've seen him in person. He's not a small guy. So he's not a guy you're not gonna manhandle him on the outside or whatever. He's bigger than most of the DBs that he's playing against. So his size doesn't matter, right, when it comes to that type of stuff. So he doesn't need to have superior athleticism because he's a bigger guy. He's going to be able to get loose, right? He's going to be able to shake you. He knows, he knows the position in and out. And I think that's the biggest thing that you can see with him. He's not just playing receiver. He is a receiver. He knows the position in and out. He can, to me, he looks like as soon as he gets done with football, he can go right into coaching and start coaching up receivers because there's little things in his game that a lot of other receivers don't do. And there's no reason why a guy who runs a 4.6 should be getting as open as he does. And he's done it his entire career. He's only a 4.6 guy, but he gets open. He's wide open his entire career. And not all of that is scheme. Not all of that is the quarterback that he plays with. Most of it is because of him, his route running ability, his, willingness to study tape, to understand what defenses want to do. And for him to just get into an open spot. And that's what he does. He's been doing it all his entire career. Since he walked into the NFL, he's been getting open. So that doesn't go away. That really doesn't go away. That knowledge and stuff, it doesn't go away. Guys like that age very, very well. You're able to age well. And I'm obviously not comparing him to Jerry Rice. But Jerry Rice was the same way, right? Jerry Rice is the best receiver of all time. We know this, right? It's Jerry Rice, and then Jerry Rice is up here, and then maybe Randy Moss right here. Maybe Randy Moss, maybe T.O., but the gap is huge. The gap is wide. Jerry Rice was only a 4.6 guy, but he has the most plays in NFL history for a receiver, like over 50 yards. He's got the most, more than Tyreek Hill, more than anybody. He's got the most plays over 50 for being a 4.6 guy because he was able to get open his entire career. And Jerry Rice played until I think he was 40, right? When he retired. I think he was like in training camps with the Broncos and the Seahawks and all this. He played for a really, really, really long time because he was able to, again, not just play the receiver position, but to know how to play the receiver, be a receiver, right? Be able to kind of look at the game, playing on the outside, but looking at the game, through the lens of a quarterback kind of, right? Being able to understand coverages, where to go, where to sit, right? Man-to-man, zone, all of that stuff. He understood that. And then having the chemistry with all of your quarterbacks. That's what Keenan does. So Keenan's going to be able to play for as long as he wants. As long as he's able to keep doing that stuff, he's going to be able to keep playing for as long as he wants. He's going to be a guy that, even if the Chargers don't want him, if he's out on the open market, somebody will pay to get it. There's going to be a bunch of teams who would want a Keenan Allen on their team. And then, two, for him being a star wide receiver, he doesn't talk. He's not a me guy. He's never in trouble. He's never doing anything stupid. He's not, acting like Antonio Brown. He's a good locker room guy as well, too. He's a leader. He's a captain. And, he has a lot of respect on all the teams that he's on. So that's just another thing, a guy that you can respect as well, too. So Keenan has a lot of value around the league. And I hope that the Chargers, because at this point right now, I want him to come back. Whatever the Chargers need to do as far as salary and all that stuff, maybe, move some money around with signing bonuses and all. I hope that they're able to do that to keep Keenan on this team because we have seen what this Chargers team has looked like without Keenan Allen, right? Even with Mike Williams, right? As much as I love Mike Williams, Keenan Allen is kind of the guy that makes everything go, right? Mike is able to be Mike because Keenan is Keenan, right? And it all starts with Keenan first. It all starts with him because Keenan can be moved around outside, inside. You can pretty much put him anywhere in any set, any formation, whatever. he can go anywhere because of his route running ability. He can run the entire route tree, right? 0 to 9. He can run everything on both sides of the field. So he allows the other guys to be who they are because he is so good. And, if you are a defense coming in, you have to pay attention to him, right? He's not a guy that you can ignore when you're game planning for the Chargers. Keenan Allen has to be, you got to know where he is. And, a lot of cases you have to double team him, right? Especially on third downs, fourth downs, whatever it is, right? You have to double team him. But he's the guy that allows everybody else to be who they are, right? He's allowing Mike Williams to be the guy that he is. So Keenan has value, and I want him to come. I at this point, I want him to come back. We need him. We need him unless the Chargers are going to make wholesale changes at the wide receiver position. Unless they're going to have a completely, different philosophy or whatever. Even if they do, I still want Keenan Allen back because he's the guy that makes everything happen. And, it's hard. Things are rough. Things are rough without Keenan Allen. I think everybody can see that now. Let's see. Pretty much giving up on the playoff berth, but I'm still going to root for our boys. Playoffs are not out yet, but it is going to get harder. It's going to get harder. And I think you guys if you guys watched the game last night, if you watched Green Bay and Tennessee, it's getting rough. It's going to get rough in the AFC. And I kind of wanted to speak on this a little bit too. The Tennessee Titans are the team that should not be. They're in the playoffs every year, and they should not be there. They really shouldn't be there based off of the roster construction and all of everything that they don't have. They are so good. They are a well-coached team. This is where coaching comes into play so much. We all thought that Brandon Staley was going to be what Mike Vrabel is. Mike Vrabel is a hell of a coach. Mike Vrabel is a guy that has that team going. They believe in themselves, and they are physical as hell. The Titans are physical as hell. They are, if there is a team that is the most reminiscent of all 32 teams, if you can go down the list and say which one reminds you of the early 90s, football team, right? Power run, a little play action here and there, but just physical. The Titans are the team. They play old school football, but it works. It works. And for everything that they don't have, and this is why I do not understand the people who defend Lombardi and the people who are just, and I acknowledge injuries. They happen, they suck and all of that stuff, but you have to be able to overcome injuries, and you have to be able to do things in a different manner when you do have injuries. Notice what the Titans did yesterday and how the game was called, right? They called the offensive coordinator, Todd Downing, who by the way got arrested this morning for a DUI. That was crazy. That was some off the wall news, but all of that, withstanding. Look at what the Titans did yesterday. They have almost nothing on offense. And I know they drafted the kid, Treylon Burks out of Arkansas, but he just came. That was his first game back yesterday. That was his first game back in, I think, 5 games. He hadn't played in 5 or 6 games. They had been on a winning streak. The only loss that they had was against Kansas City, and that was in overtime, and they were playing their backup quarterback. So that's not a bad loss by any stretch of the imagination, right? You can make a good point that if Tannehill plays, they probably beat Kansas City. But all of that withstanding, last night, the Titans, their game plan, they have almost nothing, right? You look at Robert Woods. Aside from Robert Woods, he's a pro. He knows what he's doing. But again, he's not, one of the top 10 wide receivers in the league. He's a guy, he can get open and he can make catches. But aside from Robert Woods, I've seen guys who I've never heard of making plays for the Titans, right? I know who Austin Hooper is, wildly overrated tight end. He was very, very overrated when he was with the Falcons. He went to the Browns. They thought he was going to be, a world beater. He's definitely overrated. I'll take Gerald Everett. I take our tight end over him. I seen the other tight, number 85 on Coral. Never heard of this guy before, ever. Number 15, Westbrook Akina. Never heard of this dude before either. Their backup running back, number 40. I don't even know his name. He's making plays. And obviously we know that they have Derrick Henry. And everybody in the world knows that they're going to come out and they're going to run Derrick Henry. And What do they do every week? They do it successfully. Even when people know it, they know you're playing the Titans. Derrick Henry's going to get the ball at least 20 times, right? He's going to get the ball at least 20 times. They come out and they do it successfully, and they run it for 4 or 5 yards a carry. They do that. They do that. And not only that, but when you look at what they were doing offensively, right? They do run Derrick Henry. They do shove him down your throat. But even still, they have some creativity within their offense. Todd Downing has creativity within their offense. Several times last night, a few jet sweeps, right, that were set up very well. And that's something I talked about with the Chargers that they didn't do. They were set up very, very well because, obviously you're pounding Derrick Henry, pounding him, first down, second down, even some third downs, right? You're pounding him. You get the jet sweep motion or whatever. People don't pay attention to it because Derrick Henry has the ball. They set it up very well. They had a few jet sweeps that they set up very well. They had a couple of direct snaps to Derrick Henry too. That's something that I advocated for. Austin Eckler, maybe Isaiah Spiller, maybe they can take some direct snaps and help the run game. You can get an extra blocker in there when you don't have a quarterback handing the ball to the running back. You can get some more blocking. Maybe you can gain more yards with those type of plays. And then you've seen the play at the goal line. They hand the ball to Derrick Henry. He jumps up, does a jump pass, a la Tim Tebow, Lamar Jackson, for a touchdown. Like, they have creativity within their offense. And people can say that their offense is so archaic and all this stuff. They still have creativity within it. You still can't come out and just you have to think about these little things. Derrick Henry can throw the ball. Sometimes he can take the ball in a direct snap. Sometimes he can take the ball in a direct snap, act like he's going to run, drop back, and then throw it. Like, they do have some creativity. They can get you off balance. The Titans can get you off balance. Even though they're not a big play offense, they're not explosive by any stretch of the imagination. Their offense, everybody except for Derrick Henry, their offense resembles the Charger. Well, everybody except for Derrick Henry and Ryan Tannehill, right? Obviously, Justin Herbert better than Ryan Tannehill. The Chargers, we don't have a Derrick Henry anywhere on our roster or anything that resembles it. But those two withstanding, the Titans offense looks a lot like the Charger offense with the injuries. But I see a lot of creativity within that, even though they don't have really anybody explosive to work with. They don't have anything that is, going to worry you as a defense in anything aside from Derrick Henry. They still have creativity within their offense. The Chargers don't. And that's what I think that is the biggest referendum on Joe Lombardi. That's the biggest referendum on Brandon Staley. When I turn on the Titans and I watch the Titans, I see creativity within a power run game offense. This is a drop back offense that the Chargers have, and there's still no creativity there at all. So I get it, injuries suck and all of that stuff, but they have an offensive coordinator who has some creativity, and who makes the job of the quarterback easier. They have guys that do. It's like, it's not like they're without, without anybody who's creating or anything. They have guys that can do that. So again, this is the biggest referendum on Joe Lombardi. It's the biggest referendum on Brandon Staley. They have creativity on offense, and this is what the Chargers are missing. And this is what the fans have been asking for. And every time you get a Joe Lombardi defender and they want to talk about this and that and all of this, like, it doesn't make sense. You can't just come out and just jump out the box and just start defending him. Watch other teams. You watch other teams create with less. They have less. They have less with everybody healthy. Charger offense healthy. Titans offense healthy. They have way less than the Chargers have, right? Way, way less than the Chargers have. They have no explosion. All they have is Derrick Henry to hand the ball to, kind of shorten the game. That's really all they have. The Chargers have more weapons offensively. It's just it's a different level of understanding of offense. It is just a different level of coaching. And you can see that around the league. And that has been, I think, the biggest thing for me this season. I wasn't happy with anything that the Chargers did last year, right? Everybody was so happy with the top 5 offense and all of that stuff. But anytime we played a good defense, we got shut down like nothing. Anytime there was no pressure on any of the good defenses, even really any decent defenses, they shut the Chargers down. They shut down what they were doing. So it wasn't like the Chargers were doing this against really good defenses or blowing out teams that had really good defenses, they were getting stifled by teams that had decent defenses. And I seen it last year. But this year, I have really, really paid attention to, and I have made it my mission to watch as many games this season as I can, right? Thursday night games, Sunday games, whatever. Just watching creativity on offense, right? Because I want to compare it to what the Chargers do on, and I can say without a doubt, the Chargers are last on the list when it comes to the creativity on offense, when it comes to making things easier for your quarterback, when it comes to layups, right? And I've said this before, you need layups. If you have one of the best quarterbacks in the league, you need to schedule some layups into how you call the game plan, right? You cannot just rely on Herbert to drop back 40 times and to throw dimes all day. He can do it, but you can't. It is not something you can rely on. It's not something you can get to the playoffs on. It's not something that you can hang your hat on week in and week out because it's just not easy. That shit is hard sometimes, right? It's very, very hard. If the timing with the receiver is not on, then Herbert can't do it, right? If there's injuries, then Herbert can't do it. If Herbert is injured himself, he can't do it. There's so many variables that go into him dropping back, throwing dimes every week. Everything has to be perfect around him in order for him to do that. The Titans are 7-3 right now, and they don't ask Ryan Tannehill to do that. They don't. They don't ask him to do. He doesn't have to drop back and throw dimes. All Ryan Tannehill literally has to do is just not turn the ball over. That's all they ask him to do. Don't turn the ball over. Some of your receivers, most of your receivers are going to be wide open. Just hit them, and don't turn the ball over. Don't try to do too much. They have made it very easy for him. It's very elementary. They're 7-3 now, and they're going to win their division, obviously, but they're going to be in line for one of the top two playoff spots, and they're doing this with the archaic offense. And defensively, they're pretty good. They're pretty good. I think they play above their level of talent just because of the coaching. But as far as a team goes, that's a damn good team right there. That's a really damn good team. They're going to be a tough out in the playoffs for anybody because they're so physical up front. They come in every single game, and no matter what they do, they're going to establish a line of scrimmage. That's what the Titans do. They establish the line of scrimmage. That's not what the Chargers do. They don't establish the line of scrimmage. When you establish the line of scrimmage, you can pretty much do whatever you want, right? For the rest of the game, it doesn't matter who you're playing. If you establish the line of scrimmage, both sides of the ball, that's what the Titans do. Offensive line, defensive line, as soon as they kick it off, they get to work. They get to work, and then they put themselves in positions to be in games that they shouldn't be in, right? Theoretically, they should not have been in the Kansas City game. They went to overtime, but they dominated the line of scrimmage. They sacked Mahomes like 5 times that game. They are good. This is a good team. And again, Vrabel is the coach that everybody thought Brandon Staley would be, but he's not. He's just not. And this is something that I have come to realize. So now I am, as they say, I'm smoking the hopium, right? I'm smoking the hopium because I hope that the Chargers can do this, and I hope that they can do that, and I hope that they can win on Sunday. But I have no confidence. There's nothing I can show you that will say the Chargers are going to win on Sunday. There's nothing that I can show you, nothing stats wise, nothing tape wise, nothing that I can show you that will say, hey, the Chargers are going to win this game on Sunday. So it is what it is. And if you are a Charger fan, and if you are somebody who does like Lombardi, or you do defend the ball, watch other games. Just watch other games. Watch other teams. Watch other teams' offenses specifically, good and bad, right? Teams who you think are good and bad. Watch what they do offensively, and just watch how creative it is, and judge them on a creative scale, right? I don't care how many points a team scores or whatever, this and that, but offensively, judge them on a creativity scale, right? When you watch the plays, look at it and say, is this something that I can see the Chargers doing on Sunday? Right? Is this something that they will probably do? And most of the time, the answer is going to be no, right? Jump passes, the direct snaps, things that throw the defense off, right? Things that they don't really see from you on film throughout the week. The Chargers don't do that. They just don't. They don't do that. They don't try to throw anybody off. That's not what their thing is. So look at it. Look at other teams' offenses and see and understand that this is not the offense that everybody thought it was going to be. Injuries withstanding as well too. We know this. The creativity is just not there. We have stars on offense, and if those stars are healthy and if they're balling, then our offense is good. But when those stars are not there, the offense it goes to shit. It completely goes to shit. And it is what it is. Um, what did it say? Trade Herbert and keep Keenan Allen. What? Let's trade Herbert for Ryan Tannehill and keep Keenan. What? Come on, man. No. Ryan is crap. He just has a better OC. We need to get rid of him, Barty. Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Ryan Tannehill's not good. All they ask him to do is not turn the ball over. That's literally all they ask him to do. So, I mean, what quarterback couldn't have success there? There's a bunch of quarterbacks who can. There's a bunch of quarterbacks who can play for the Titans right now and have success. There's a bunch. It's like a bunch. He's not the only guy. There's a bunch who can go out there and have success. He's just the guy that they are sticking with right now. They drafted a rookie. They drafted somebody to go out there and push him in training camp and to push him in practice. They drafted somebody for that, but they don't believe in him like that. They just ask him not to turn the ball over. That's it. That's really all they ask him to do. Don't turn the ball over. They don't ask him to have stats or any a certain amount of touchdown passes, and they never ask him to do that. They would never ask him to do that. He doesn't throw the ball a lot either. I think he's averaging like 26, 27 pass attempts a game. That's nothing. In today's modern NFL, that's absolutely nothing. So they don't ask him to be great. They just ask him not to ruin the game, pretty much. And if you're a quarterback and that's all they ask you to do, I mean, your job is much easier than anybody else's. There's not a lot of guys who can come out and do what Herbert does. So, it's a different level there. But we should get a group of Muslims wearing backpacks to sit in the front. Whoa, come on, man. We can't say it. You cannot say that. Can't say that here. They will no, you can't say you cannot. You can't say that. You can't say that. You cannot say that. So what I wanted to show here, I wanted to show how, because I was talking playoffs the other day and how the Chargers are not they're not looking to be a playoff team right now at this point, right? So what I wanted to do, I wanted to show this standings here this is from ESPN, and these are the current standings here for all the divisions, right? So we see the best division in the AFC, obviously AFC East, right? Nobody really seen that. Miami, they are number one as of right now because they do have a head-to-head against Buffalo. And New York has a head-to-head against Buffalo as well, too. So, they're looking good. All these teams are looking good, right? Even the Patriots, they're still here at 5-4. And, I've seen a lot of people talk about their schedules and all of this stuff. So I just want to kind of go over this because I think this needs to be illustrated, right? You have to be able to see this in order to believe it, because a lot of people are thinking that the Chargers are just going to be a team that is just gonna, pull it together, right? When they have to, right? We're gonna pull it together, and this is, we're good, and the optimism is here, and all of this stuff. Like, none of this really matters, right? This is a win and loss league, and this is what I want to illustrate for everybody to see here, right? Okay, so we look at the AFC East, obviously the best division in the AFC, right? I think Miami, I think New York, and I think Buffalo, they're all going to get into the playoffs, right? Obviously, Baltimore gets into the playoffs. They are going to win this division. I think they're going to win the division, AFC North. They get into the playoffs. Obviously, Tennessee is going to win the AFC South. They will be in the playoffs. And, the Chargers are already 2 games behind Kansas City. They're already 2 games behind, right? So you're 2 games behind in the win column, and you're 2 games behind in the loss column. Chargers lose on Sunday. They will be 3 games behind in both. That is you can pretty much sum it up there. If you think the Chiefs are going to lose 3 more games, throughout the rest of the regular season, if you're hoping that, it's probably not going to happen. I'm just here to tell you that it's just not going to happen. And so you look at all of these teams. You look at you can count the playoff teams, right? There's only going to be 7 playoff teams. So I think the Chiefs are going to be number 1. I think they're going to finish with the best record. So I think they'll be number 1. I think number 2 will be between either Tennessee or Miami or whoever wins the AFC East. So number 1, Kansas City. I'll just say probably number 2, Tennessee, right? So Miami will be possibly number 3, right? And then we'll have the AFC North number 4. This is just me, and I'm just being hypothetical here. I'm not saying that I really actually believe any of this stuff, but just being hypothetical, just to show you how bad the Chargers need to win on Sunday, right? So now we have our 4 playoff teams, our 4 division winners, and the Chiefs get the bye because they have the best record. Okay, we get that, right? So now we have our 4 division winners. Now we're getting to the wild card, right? Number 5 obviously is going to come from here, right? If Buffalo or New York, whatever, let's just say Buffalo, right? Let's say, but Josh Allen keeps turning the ball over. So let's say Buffalo, they're number 5. They're a wild card team at number 5, right? Probably one of the best wild card teams of all time. You could honestly say that if that happens, right? So you would look at number 5 here, right? Now, number 6, if the New York Jets keep winning, right? If the New York Jets keep winning, obviously they're not as good of a team as Buffalo or Miami. But if they keep winning, they will be in that number 6 area, right? They will be in that number 6. Or if the Bengals get hot like they did last year, you can look at the Bengals at being number 6, right? Bengals number 6, possibly. You can see that. I can see that they were there. I think they were number 6 last year as a wild card, and they got to the Super Bowl. So they can do it again if they put everything together. If they get everybody back healthy, they have been playing really well on offense. If their defense can join them, I can see them being number 6, right? I'm not surprising anybody by saying any of this stuff, right? So I can see them being number 6. But then you also look at here. You look at the New England Patriots. Look at them here. They can also be number 6, right? They have Bill Belichick, right? He is the greatest coach of all time, especially the greatest game planning coach, especially defensively, right? They can do that. They can Bill Belichick can put together game plans in order to get this team to 9 wins, right? I think he can do that to 9 wins. Just depending on how Mac Jones is playing, if everybody's healthy on offense, if they're able to do anything on offense, right? I can see them being a 6 seed, right? If everything goes well, if the Jets lose, all of that stuff, I can see that happening. But here's where I want to get to everybody. Here's what I want to talk about here, and here's why I think the yeah, man, I gotta get that comment up out of there. Yeah, we can't have YouTube coming and shutting it down for any racism or stuff like that. You gotta ride the lightning bolt. Well, this is ride the lightning. Yeah, gotta put you in timeout for a little bit. Let's get rid of that. Okay, so back to what I'm talking about here. Here's a big difference in all of the potential playoff teams and the Chargers, right? Because honestly, right now, the only thing that the Chargers really can achieve that is realistic right now, without having any pie in the sky fantasies, the only thing that they can really achieve at this point right now is the 7th seed. The 7th seed, and that's the very last wild card spot. And the Chargers have to win on Sunday, right? They have to win on Sunday. So after win or loss, right? Win or loss after the game on Sunday, the Chargers have 7 games left on the schedule. They have 2 remaining games against this team, this Tennessee team that we seen yesterday that is playing pretty well, and this Miami team that we seen that is playing pretty well too. Both of these teams are coming to SoFi Stadium in December. So we see what's going on here with these 2 playoff teams. The Chargers also have a couple of road games, right, against the Raiders and against the Broncos. Now, these teams are not good teams, but these are highly contested AFC West matchups on the road. So this is something that it's going to be hard, right? These games are going to be hard regardless. Here's what I want to get to, though, and here is what the biggest takeaway, if you're paying attention to this at all, here's what the biggest takeaway should be for you, for all of these other playoff teams. You look at here, right, and I went over everybody. I went over who I think is number 1 to number 6, right? So Kansas City, number 1, right? We know what their record is. Look at the point differential, plus 64. Scored 270, only had 206 scored against them. They are plus 64, right? So I said Tennessee is going to be number 2, right? Even though Tennessee, they don't have an explosive offense or anything like that. Point differential, plus 8, right? So I said Miami will be number 3, point differential, plus 11. I said Baltimore is going to be number 4, plus 39. Right? So these are your 4 division winners. Now, again, I'm saying the wild card stuff. Like, right, look at the wild card. Maybe Buffalo, if Buffalo does make the wild card, they'll be number 5, the highest wild card seed. Again, maybe the best wild card of all time. Look at them. Plus 99. Plus 99. This could potentially be the 5th team, the 5th seed, the wild card seed. Plus 99. Buffalo, right? And I said, okay, so who is in contention for the 6th and 7th seed, right? If New York Jets keep winning, plus 20. Really good. Plus 20, really good for a team that has had terrible quarterback play all season long, right? So I say that they're the 6th seed, right? If they're not the 6th seed, maybe New England overtakes them. What is New England? Plus 37. Again, terrific numbers for subpar quarterback play. Terrific numbers for subpar quarterback play. Number 6, right? So, okay, and if we want to go back to Cincinnati, let's see what Cincinnati is. Plus 43, right? If Cincinnati maybe gets the 6 or 7 seed, right? Plus 43. You look at all these teams in the AFC West, they are all plus. You look at the top 2 in the AFC North, plus. Titans are the only good team in the AFC South, we know this, plus. AFC West, Kansas City Chiefs, plus. Chargers, negative 28. Point differential. This is one of the stats that takes a while to acquire over time, right? So once you get to week 12, 13, whatever, the point differential tells you how good a team is. And it always has pretty much year in and year, right? Because it shows how many points you scored and how many points you've given up. The Chargers have scored 200 points and they have given up 228 points. That's why they are a negative. So if we're looking at, I see a lot of people talking about the ease of schedule, and you're looking at New England's schedule, and you're looking at Buffalo and Cincinnati's schedule and all of this stuff. They are all plus in point differential. All of them are plus in point differential. The Chargers are negative 28 in point differential. This is not a good team, right? The Chargers are blessed to be 5-4 right now. That's really the only way I can describe it, because these point differentials tell the story of your team, right? The Broncos, negative 18 point differential. This tells the story of the Broncos. This says that the Broncos defense is really good and the Broncos offense is really, really shitty, because you can look at the Broncos have scored 131 points and they have given up 149 points, right? This is 3 touchdowns. If the Broncos scored 3 more touchdowns, just in whatever games, right? They've played 9 games so far. If they had scored 3 more touchdowns just throughout 9 games, they have a plus point differential, right? And that means they probably could have won 3 to 4 more games easily, just scoring points. But this tells the story. This is why I like this, right? This is why I like the point differential, because it tells the story, and there really is no bias with it. So it tells the story of what the team is. The Chargers are not a good team. That point differential is looking bad, and it's a negative 28. The Chargers have given up too much. They've given up too much defensively, and they have not scored enough offensively. And people can say whatever they want to say. You can tweet positive things. You can do all of this stuff. You can say whatever you want to say about it. There's no way to get around this. There's no way to get around this, guys. This tells you what your team is. Your point differential tells you what your team is. It tells you over the course of a season. And this is why I'm using it now, because we're going to go into, this is going to be the 10th game. So these numbers here are accurate, right? Now, these numbers can skew, obviously, if a team goes on if you start off the year 4-0, right? Even if you're not a good team, your point differential is probably going to be somewhere in the plus, right? It's probably going to be somewhere in the plus because you have scored, enough points to win 4 games, right? So it's going to look a lot better. Over the course of the season, this tells the big story. Point differential tells the big story. So this is what you look at here. And you look at all of these teams here. That's why a lot of people believe the AFC East can make the playoffs. All these guys can make the playoffs because they look at the point differential. If you match them up against teams like the Chargers, they're better. They're just better, right? Talent withstanding and all of this stuff and accolades and all of this stuff. This tells the difference of what your team is doing. how your team really looks, right? Don't let stats and all of this stuff and I like this so much because it doesn't take stats into account, right? We know Tua is balling out of control. Doesn't matter though, because their defense gives up a lot of points, right? Miami gives up a lot of points. Their defense has given up 241 points, right? Their defense has given up more points than the Chargers defense, right? But they have put up a lot of points themselves, 252, right? So this tells the story of the team. This tells a story. You can look at the point differential and you can tell what team is a good team, what team is an okay team. Even like with Tennessee, look at their +8. This tells you that they're okay. They put up 193. They've had 185 scored against them, so they're +8 point differential, right? Not that big of a deal. They're okay. They're an okay team when it comes to playoff time and all that stuff. But they're winning games, right? So they're winning games, so they're going to make the playoffs. But it tells you that they're just an okay team, right? They're not an explosive team. They don't score a lot of points. They keep their heads above water, playing the way that they play now, right? They get a lot out of pretty much nothing outside of Derrick Henry and maybe Treylon Burks, right? They don't really get anything out of their offense. But this point differential tells you a lot. It tells you a lot. It can reveal a lot about a team, and this is what the Chargers are. So this is the point differential stuff that I'm looking at here, and that's what it's that's really what it boils down to, guys. The playoff berth, any hope of playoffs comes down to that, and our point differential says that we are not a good team, and we are blessed to be 5-4. And I would venture to say that teams that with our point differentials normally are 3-4, or 3-6, or possibly 2-7, but we are blessed to be 5-4. We just are, and it is what it is. So that's what I wanted to come on here and talk about. Also show I wanted to show last week as well too. A lot of people were, and when I had the watch party, I was thinking, watching the game and watching the first half, especially the first quarter with the game. I thought that Joe Lombardi had turned the corner, but he didn't. The only touchdown the Chargers scored against the Niners came off of a mistake, and that was something that I wanted to possibly get to in a video, but I figured I would just come on here and just show it because it'll be easier because I can do the film on here. So I want to show that right now. Now, the Chargers, they split and this is what I don't get about Joe Lombardi, right? The Niners have the number 1 defense in the league. But what the game plan called for, especially in the first half, was splitting the field up for the Chargers. They pretty much split the field up. They would come out and they would run routes on the same side of the field, either left or right. They would come out and split it up. I did. When you have the number 1 defense, you're playing the number 1 defense, and you shrink the field, you give them less, area to cover, right? They're going to be better. They're not going to be worse. They're going to be better. So that's what the Chargers try to do. A lot of max protect stuff, which, I understand because you were starting, a right tackle who's getting his first start, but it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. So that's what I wanted to show. I wanted to show this play because it's just bad. It's just bad. So let's get into it here. Let's get into this play here. I wanted to show before I get off real quick. Now we are going to look at this play from game on Sunday. Now, what I want everybody to see here, look at this alignment here, the defensive alignment for the Niners pretty much. And I know Fred Warner said that they pretty much called the same thing all game long. And there was some truth to that, but, they kind of divvied it up a little bit. But there was some truth to it. But they were coming out in their 4-3, right? Fred Liner is middle linebacker. This is a linebacker. This is a linebacker. They left him in. They don't play a lot of nickel or dime coverage. Their linebackers can cover well, but they left him in. So this is the Chargers' only touchdown. And you guys have to see how Herbert took advantage of this, right? This is a good thing for us. They took advantage of it. But offensively, if this was played right by the 49ers, the Chargers wouldn't score. and this would have been a different game. So this is a game of inches, right? This is a one play type of league. One play can make your season go here or there. So this is what I wanted to show. This is how um, this is how I want to illustrate how the Joe Lombardi thing is going, right? So let's watch this play here. So before they take the snap, right? Obviously, you come out in a very heavy set. So there is two tight ends here, right? Richard Rodgers and Trey McKitty. That is Spiller in the backfield. So this is a heavy package, right? This is a heavy package, and this is a two-man route. But this is what I was talking about with Lombardi, right? He shut down. So nobody's running the route on this side of the field. Nobody, not a single person is running the route on this side of the field. So this is where the Chargers have to operate with two receivers who are not particularly fast, right? So let's watch the play, and then we'll run it back and go over things that we see, right? So we see the play action. Now I'm going to pause it here, right? Herbert already sees it. Hufanga right here, 29. He made a mistake, and Herbert sees it, and he's going to let it go. And obviously it was a touchdown, right, to Carter. But look at what you see here, right? You see Josh Palmer running it out. This is covered, and this right here, Hufanga is the guy that makes the mistake, right? So let's run it back. Herbert sees it and touchdown. So if we run this back, right? If we run this back and we look at it, Hufanga is here. This looks like a too deep coverage, right? And it should be. I think it is a too deep coverage. I just think he just made a mistake. Unless he was playing the robber, I don't think he's playing robber. It doesn't make sense to play robber when you have a two-man route. So let's look at it here. We'll play it and then pause it again. So what happened? So he's here and he is looking here. I don't know what he's doing here. He's pointing at Gibson right here. I think he thinks he's gonna run a post, but bro, back up, back up, back up, back up. What are you doing? Why are you pointing at him? Back up. You get deep because DeAndre Carter. You're not. I don't think he's faster than Hufanga. If you put him in a foot race, Hufanga's gonna win. So I don't know what he's doing here. I really, really don't know what he's doing here. Again, this is the Charger touchdown, but it came off of a mistake that a team made, right? This is nothing that we did. This is not a play call that Joe Lombardi should be celebrated for or anything. This is a busted coverage. He's pointing at him. I don't know what he's doing because if he points at him and he lets him go, what is he going to do? There's nobody here. Spiller's not running a route. What are you doing here? So you back up. There's only two guys here. What do you back up? You get as deep as you need to. You're a safety. You get as deep as the deepest player on the field. That is what safeties do. That is your job at its core as a safety. You get as deep as the deepest player on the field. He points at Gibson. Don't know why, right? So play it flat-footed. So he realizes he's now running out route, but he's flat-footed. So there's no way a guy with all this momentum is going to get caught or going to get pressed or jammed by a guy who's flat-footed. And Herbert just unloads, and again, he dies and all that stuff, but it's too late. And he understands that he made a mistake, right? There's no way that it just doesn't make any sense, right? So you can look at it from this angle here as well, too. This is a heavy set. This is a heavy, heavy set. So you only see Herbert. It looks like he's going to have a two-man here, and it is two-man, but you got a guy coming up, and you look at it from this angle. He's already beat. He should already be in the end zone. 29 should have been in the end zone for that play. He should not have been, roaming around or doing whatever. He should have been in the end zone for that play. So we see what happened there. That is what the Chargers scored on. That is the opportunity that they had to score. That was the one opportunity they had to score. Well, they had another one with Trey McKitty dropped the touchdown pass. But again, these are plays that they make you question if Joe Lombardi knows what he's doing, right? And obviously, I don't think he knows what he's doing. Nobody's going to convince me otherwise. But this is how bad it's been for the Chargers, and to have a quarterback like Justin Herbert, that game was close because of Herbert. This goes to show this is what Herbert does for the Chargers. He makes these games closer. If this was Ryan Tannehill, the same play, Ryan Tannehill is not going to make that throw. He's not going to make that throw. He's going to hitch it. And even if he does make the throw, is it going to be accurate? Right? These things come into play. This is what you have when you have a franchise quarterback. Franchise quarterback can make a game close like this. This Niner game, when you watch the tape, it had no business being as close as what it was. No business at all. And I don't give, any credit or anything like that. There's no moral victories for me. But when you look at it and when you actually break down the tape, you can see that the Chargers are where they are because of Justin Herbert. This 5-4 belongs to Herbert. It doesn't belong to Staley. It doesn't belong to anybody else. This is a Herbert thing. And same thing last year, 9-8. This belongs to Herbert. So people have to understand Justin Herbert is the reason why the Chargers are even here right now. So I see a lot of people who are, and you can criticize his play and all this stuff. And I have been critical of him too. He does need to, I think pull the trigger a little more, but he doesn't trust the receivers that he has now. And rightfully so, because he has, thrown multiple interceptions with these guys who have not been ready to catch the ball or have dropped the ball. Balls have went off their hands, got tipped or whatever. I can understand why he doesn't trust him. But you can criticize Herbert's play. But to say that the Chargers are underachieving because of him is not true. And when you watch film and when you break it down and when you watch stuff like that, when you see that, that is a touchdown because of Herbert and because he recognized automatically that the safety made a mistake. It didn't take him but a couple of seconds to recognize that. It didn't take him but a couple of seconds to recognize this guy made a mistake. I'm putting the ball out there. It's a touchdown. Other quarterbacks, they're not going to notice that, right? Or they're going to be looking at the rush, or they're going to have happy feet in the pocket. Now with Herbert, this is the reason why the Chargers are where they are. And that's the point that I wanted to make. So, again, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this live stream here. I'll be back again tomorrow. I'll be dropping more content tomorrow. Maybe another live stream tomorrow, maybe to go over some defensive stuff. And that's probably what I'll end up doing. Probably go over some more defensive alignments and stuff tomorrow. But I just want to come on here and just make that point. I think Mike Williams is going to play, so hopefully the Chargers are able to score some points, and hopefully they are able to do what they need to do offensively to win this game, because this is the must-win. You don't want to get behind the Chiefs. You don't want to get behind 3 games, and you don't want to get behind the Patriots either in the playoff race. So this is where we're at here as Charger fans. This is a must-win, a must win. So I'll be back tomorrow. I'll be doing another live stream, and hopefully you guys join me. I will, go ahead and post that tonight so everybody knows what time I'm gonna go live tomorrow. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow, man. Yeah, let's go. They're both on the questionable list. Yeah, so I think they're both gonna play, but I think Mike Williams for sure plays. I think Keenan Allen's gonna test it out, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Yeah, see how much a difference Mike will. Yeah, he definitely makes that. So, and I'm gonna go over tomorrow. I'm gonna have the plays ready from week 2. I'm gonna have the Mike Williams plays ready for week 2, and you're gonna be able to see how he was bodying and he was mossing the Kansas City receivers. So we're gonna need to see more of that if the Chargers are gonna win. So I'm gonna have those plays ready tomorrow for the live stream. But thank you guys so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. And I'll be back again tomorrow with more content. Balenciaga Fetish, appreciate it. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you for joining me. Really appreciate it. Hopefully you come back tomorrow for the live stream. But gotta get out of here now. Gotta go take care of kids and all of that stuff. So appreciate it. I'll be back again tomorrow. And thank you guys so much.